how we name notes here. We have treble clef, line notes, and the saying is every good boy does fine. And then we have the treble clef space notes, which if you go from bottom to top, it spells the word face. For the bass clef, the saying is good boys do fine always, going from the bottom. For line notes, and for space notes, all cows eat grass. So I wanted to review some of these things. I know that most of you have seen this as well, and I've quizzed a number of you on these. The treble clef line notes, treble clef space notes, bass clef line notes, and bass clef space notes. And here, if you say the saying, every good boy does fine for E, G, B, D, F. F, A, C, E, good boys do fine always, and all cows eat grass. So I wanted to show you something that you don't need to remember 4 different sayings to be able to identify the notes. If you can remember that this is E, so remember you have the treble clef first line note. If you can remember that that's E, then you can remember everything relative to E because the musical notes are in alphabetical order. So this is E. If we step up, the next one is going to be F, and the next one is G, and then we go back and start over again. Then it's A, and so on, going up. Same thing if you know E here, then you can go back down. It's the reverse alphabet. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You're here at E. If you're going down, it's going to be going that way. So then it will be D for the next one when you're going down from E. Same thing with the bass clef. If you can remember the first one on the bottom for good boys do fine always, or we sometimes say good bikes don't fall apart. This is always going to be G. So then relative to G, what happens in the next step up, we go from a line to a space note. The musical alphabet is going to start over again. So that's A. And then we have B. And then that way, we don't have to remember 4 different sayings for remembering the order of the notes. Remember one sort of reference note, and then you can use the musical alphabet to find out what note you're looking at. So that's important because when you're playing music, you have to know what your starting note is to be able to figure out your hand position. So that's why it's important to learn how to name the notes. So knowing that, you can either use your sayings. Oh, I know it's a bass clef, a second space note, and then you would go all cows. Or you could just remember that the bottom note is G, and then we have A is a space note, B, and then C for that second space note. You can see here it's the second space from the bottom, 1, 2, and it's right here, second space, C. So you could either get that from the all cows eat grass, or just remembering that the bottom note is G and working up to C for this note here. So that is C. Now, the question is, which C is this on this keyboard here? So middle C would be in the middle of these two staffs. So that would be middle C. And we know that this is lower than middle C. Lower notes go that way on the keyboard. So it's going to be this bass C right here. This treble clef note, remember, if we remember the E is here, then the next step up is going to be F. Or you can remember the space notes spell F-A-C-E. That'll still be F. And what is this note relative to middle C? It's higher. So it is this key right here, because middle C is this one. Okay, and this note here, if we know that this is C, this is one step up from C. So what is that going to be? D. And the other way you can remember it is good bikes don't, or good boys do, fine always. Either way, it's still going to be D, and it's going to be right next to this C, because you see how close they are on the staff. They're also very close to each other on the keyboard. So that's a little mini lesson on remembering how to name notes, and I hope that this was helpful for you. And I hope to talk to you soon.